Welcome to this Photoshop tutorial, guys. In this tutorial I'll be showing you guys and explaining the interface of the Photoshop. I'll be showing you how to add various effects on Photoshop. I'll show you how color correction is done, how you see people blend images by going to different panels. In this video you're going to know how they do that and some other essential tools that you're going to need. So you guys stay tuned to the end of this video and please tap that subscribe button and that little bell icon. I'll see you guys in the video. So guys, welcome to the tutorial. And once you on your Photoshop, this is the interface. This is what you see. And now guys, let's just get to it. Now what I want you guys to do first is, so we can all have the same features and everything, to make sure we are all on the same page. I want you guys to go to your Windows and go to workspace and make sure your essentials default is ticked. This just make sure we all have the same features, tools and everything. Now away from that, we'll create our first document. And now to create your document, all you just have to do is, for your project, go to file and tap on new, and just this brings out a box, a new window where you can create what we call like an artboard, where you do your designs. Now you can just rename that. I will change that to tutorial. You can change the width here, you can change the height, you can change the units over here. Do you want it in inches, centimeters? But I don't really work with this, I just work with the pixels. Here you can change, do you want it in portrait or landscape? You can just leave the rest how they are and just tap on create. And now we are giving this box as you can see. Now over here on the left hand side we have our tools. Now you might not know what these tools are for right now, but one thing I want you to know about the tools is, if you want to actually know these tools, you have to watch tutorials. As I've said in all my videos, you have to watch tutorials, because in other tutorials they use most of these tools and you get to know them. And another thing you can do is just go over every of them, and this box comes out which explains what the tools is for. Right here we have the rectangular marquee tool, and we can actually see this kind of video gif that explains what the tool does, and this makes a selection in a shape of a rectangle. Now away from that, we just go to our move tool, which is the first tool, and all you can use the move tool to do is move things around. Now you can see we can't move our whiteboard because it is locked. Now we have our layers panel, which is on the right hand side. As you can see, this space right here, this is the layer panel. And if you don't see your layer panel, what you can do is go to Windows and just make sure your layers is ticked. If I uncheck that, you can see our layers panel disappears. And if I go back, or just tap F7, yeah. So what I want you guys to do is just go there and you see this lock icon, just double tap on it, and that freezes the layer, and now we can move it. It's no more locked, as you can see. So we can just take that back by tapping Control Z or Command Z on a Mac, and to take you back, that's undo. Or you can go to edit and tap undo. And now that we have that, another tool I want you guys to know of is let's go to our shape, our rectangular tool, and just draw a shape. Now we are talking about the layers right now. Go back to your move tool, and you can see another layer has been added. Now you should know that anytime you create a document, the first layer is always locked, is taken as the background, so it's always logged. So if you want to edit something here, you can just click on it and you see the layer will be selected, or you can come here, select it and just edit that. As you can see, I can move that around. And this eye kind of stuff you are seeing here is to hide layers. So I can hide the layer, I can hide it. And now this checker kind of stuff you are seeing at the background is just trying to tell us that it's transparent. So if I render out this box right now, it won't have any background because it will be transparent. So once you see this checker kind of thing, just know it's transparent, and once you export, it won't come out with it. And let's just bring that back, and you can just come up here and lock it. Oh no, sorry. And that's all about this. And there are other tools. As you can see, we have several tools and properties right here. 3D, colors. Most of these tools are what you'll be using when you are editing. Most of them you might not see them here, so what you can always do is go to Windows and look for what you need and just check that. If I tap on shape, you can see our shapes came out. And we have under here, you can create new document. You see several options. Here we have our adjustment layers, which deals with color correction. And here we have our layer mask. Here we can add layer style, which has to do with effect. We'll be talking about that in the next video. And I guess that's everything about the interface. Now if I select my shape, as you can see, it's selected in the layers, and I tap Ctrl T on my keyboard or Command T on a Mac, you can see these anchors, this point around it. Now like this, you've transformed this. Now you're entering the transform mode, which allows you edit the shape, like reduce the size, rotate it, as you can see. And you can just snap out of that by either coming up here and pressing the check button, or you can just tap enter on your keyboard. Yeah, and that's for the shapes. Now if I want to move this shape around, as you can see, I'm moving it freely. But if I move it up and down and I hold down my shift key, it snaps it in place, and now it only moves up and down and doesn't move freely. And if I move horizontally and I tap down my shift key, it keeps that horizontally. And you can also go diagonally, as you can see. Just hold down your shift key to put it in place. Yeah, I'll release my shift key right now. So in the next slide, in the next tutorial, I'll be talking about the effect panel, where we'll add effect to our box. See you guys in the next slide. I just wanted to add the plus icon, as you can see here, is to add a new layer. So if I tap on it, it gives me a new layer. As you can see, we have a new layer. Now if I take my brush and I just paint, oh sorry, so if I take my brush, let me increase my opacity, and I just paint around, if I hide that layer, it hides what I've done on that layer. So it's useful most of the times when you have something important to do and you don't want it to affect what you're actually doing, probably because you're going to edit it later or delete it. So it's always good to add a new layer and just put it on that layer, so you can always, you see, I can always delete that layer and it won't affect our shape here. So see you guys in the next slide. If you made it up to this next slide, then congratulations. Now in this slide, I'll be teaching you how to add basic effect to objects. Now I'll be adding this effect to my box right here, my rectangle. Now to add an effect, all you just have to do is make sure the layer is turned on, like it's clicked on the layer of the object you want to add the effect. So you just go to layers and just go down to your layer style, and once you click on your layer style, it brings down this drop down menu, and just tap on your blending option, and that brings out the layer style. Now in the layer style, you can actually add different effects to your object, and now we'll be adding into this rectangle. So let's add a drop shadow. Now it's way down there. Just once you click on it, just get ticked, and once you see it ticked, it means the effect is actually on the object. Now let's add a drop shadow. Now once you add your drop shadow, click on it and it brings down the settings for the drop shadow. And right here we can change the blend option, let's say to normal, to darken, the color bond, dark color. You can always change the blend mode and the color of the drop shadow. Now the drop shadow is just like a shadow beneath your object, and yeah, as you can see here, it's just a shadow beneath your object, just underneath it. And you can always change the angle. Okay, that isn't really working, I guess. You can change the opacity, you can change the distance where it's coming from. Probably I want to do a book that is going to show a shadow just beneath a floor, then this way you can use the drop shadow. So you can change the spread. The spread to me is just like it makes it more blurry, and once you blur it out how you want, you can always use the size to spread it out. And you can always come here to the quality, add some noise. Now let's remove our noise, I hate that. And you can go to your contour and just do some basic effect to the drop shadow. I'll take that back to the normal one. And that's all about the drop shadow. And you can always go back to the default settings by clicking on reset to default, and that just takes everything back to how it was. And you can re-edit it. As you can see, you can always re-edit it. And let's give that a shadow. Now the next is the outer glow. The outer glow is going to give your object selected a glow on its outside. Now we have this color. To change the color, you can just double tap and you can always change the color. So I'll leave mine at red, or you can always tap this rectangle over here, and once you tap on the rectangle, you just come down here to this small box and just double tap on it and just choose the color you want and tap OK. Or you can always choose from the presets. As you can see, just choose from one of its presets colors and just tap OK. And here you can also change the blending mode. Here you can also change the opacity, you can add noise, you can change the spread, the size. Oh, that's too much. You can change the size. Here, as you can see, you can change the spread, change the size. You can see that's just the outer glow. And here you can also change the effect of the outer glow. Let's put that back to normal. And here you can change the range, as you can see, the jitter. And you can always change back to the default settings. Just tap on the reset to default. We also have the pattern overlay, and this gives your object selected a pattern inside. Now you can always design your own pattern. That will be for another tutorial and that period. And there are presets patterns there. You can see trees, you can add trees, you can add grass, you can add water. Let's add water. I think I like that. Water. Let's just add water. As you can see, I've added water. And here you can change the opacity, you can change the blend mode, lighting, screen, and here you can just scale it. Yes, and don't forget you can always reset back to the normal settings. And we have other effects, the gradient overlay, which gives your objects a gradient, and you can come here, play with the settings, change the blend mode, change the color. You just click on it, it brings out this, and you can always double tap on these small boxes here and just give it a color. And if you click on those small boxes and you just move them around, it allows you to edit like the spaces the color consumes. So for the red, if I take it and just drag it to the end, it increases the space consumed by the red, as you can see. So you can just take that back and take this back. Yes, or you can always choose from their presets colors, foreground color, blues, as you can see. So, okay, and you can change the angle, Let me change that back to something more visible so we can see what I'm doing here. So let's go to red and yellow. I think these are more visible. Okay, we have an extra. You can just tap on that and tap delete, and it will delete that. Let's give that red and just tap OK. And here you can change the angle at which each colors are coming from. I think I'll keep mine at 0. Okay, I think that's close to 0. And you can change the size. Just kind of blurs it. You can just keep that like halfway, and also you can reset to the normal settings. Color overlay just like gives your object some kind of color. You can choose which color, and you can always reduce the opacity. You can add what we call the satin. I don't really know what this does yet. It's normal. Let me give that some kind of yellow vibes. As you can see, something happened. Inner glow. This is just like the outer glow, but this time we have the glow inside. We have the inner shadow, which gives your object some kind of depth. As you can see, it gives the drop shadow kind of effect, but this time inside. We have the stroke, where you can add your stroke. See our size a little bit. You can add your stroke. You can add other things. As you can see, I have 2 strokes. As you can see right here, if you check yours, you have 1. That's because I tapped on this plus button, so you can just keep on giving your object strokes. And also our inner shadow does have 1. You can click on it to add an extra inner shadow, and you can just keep on doing this, and it will keep on adding extras. And you can just edit that another way. So I can just edit one of the inner shadows another way, or this stroke I can give it other colors. As you can see, we have red, we have purple inner shadow, purple stroke, sorry. And that's all about that. Now our last one is the bevel and embers. Click on that. We have contour, we have texture under that. Now texture just gives your objects texture, as you can see, and you can always choose from the pattern, and you can watch other tutorials about how to make patterns. I'm actually going to do one. I'm going to do one tutorial about how to make your own patterns, so you can stay tuned for that. And that's all about texture. You can add contour. You can see the edges of your shape. Don't know how to really explain it, but if you look closer, if you look really close, let me zoom in. Okay, I'm having some bit of problem zooming in right now. Okay, as you can see, the edges of our shape. Now there's this part. As you can see, let me change the contour. See, it changes. So that what that is for. And if you click on your bevel and embers, it's just kind of curves this place, make it more smoother. The edges, you can add depth, you can change the direction. You can do that inner, you can do that outside. You can just play with the settings of all these effects, and that's how you will learn it. So you guys, what I want you to do is take up your laptop, on your Photoshop, just pick a shape or pick any object, and just go to your layers, your layer, go to the layer style, choose the blending option, and it brings out your effect panel. And the next thing you guys need to do is just play around with all the effects. And once you play around with the effect, you get to understand them and you get to know them, and that's how you understand the effect. And now in the next slide, we'll be learning about editing pictures. Welcome guys to this next slide. And now you guys, I'll be talking about how you can edit pictures. We'll be working with our pictures now, how you see them blend pictures, 2 pictures together. Now we'll be talking about editing, and we'll be doing some major color corrections. Now before we get to that, I want you to take a look at what we added in the previous class about the effect panel. As you can see here, we added effect to our rectangle, and this is the layer. And if you look at the layer and the layer panel, you see this like a drop menu of all the I don't know what to call that right now, but as you can see that all the effects we added are showing right now. And if you look closely, you see this FX. Now we can just close that up. Now this FX, you can see it down here also. As you can see, let me select that. We can see it down here also, and if you click on it, you can actually go to your blend option from there. I just wanted to bring that to your notice, so you don't actually have to always go to layer style. You can just go down to your FX, and that brings out your blend option. And if you double click on the layer, it brings down the blending option also. If you double click on the layer, see, let me unlock layer. Just click on it to unlock it, and if I double tap, it brings out the blend option. So there are several ways to bring out your effects panel, instead of just going to your layers, your layer style, and just doing that. That's like a long journey. I'm just showing you guys the short method. Now for pictures, let's just get straight to the tutorial. For pictures, all you just have to do is go to file and just tap open, and just pick a picture. Now I'll be picking this picture. Now as you can see, we have a new document opened. That's because we went to open. Now what if you want to bring like a picture to this document, this project? All you have to do is place. Now you don't open. If you open, it opens the image as its own project. So we want to edit this picture alone. So that's what I'm trying to explain right here. So now if I want to bring a picture just to this document, I have to just go to file and go to place. You can just go to place embedded and just pick a picture. Now you can see we have the picture right here, and in the layers you can see it's at the back of the box we created. That's because in the layer panel it's below the rectangle, and you can just click and drag it up. Once you drag it up and it's up, now you can see that you can always drag it down. You see your box below it. Now the layers, in the layer panel, you're just gonna see like what you're doing on your project. On this white box, you'll be seeing everything you add, the effects, the images you bring, everything will be in the layer panel. So you can just always see what you want to edit there, and know what you want to arrange, click on what you want to edit. So the layer panel is actually good. And so that's all about this. Now let's go to our image. Just go to file, open, and get your image. Now the first thing I'll be teaching you guys about editing images is how to actually copy something from an image. Now we can see this car right here, this sweet car, which I wish I had. Okay, now to copy this car, I want to duplicate it. Now to do that, we have to select the car. To duplicate the car, we have to select the car first. So there are several ways to select a car, to select a picture, sorry, rather. So we can make use of the quick selection tool. If you take your cursor over your tool in the left panel, you see different tools there. We have the lasso tool, we have the quick selection tool, and if you just click down on the lasso tool, you have other tools, the polygonal lasso tool. There are other tools there, but just stick with the lasso tool, the quick selection tool. Now quick selection tool is actually really great. Once you tap on that, you can actually just click and the selection start to form itself. Just move around the car and it starts to form itself, as you can see. But you see there are some downsides to it. As you can see, it selects places we don't want. So what you can do is hold down your alt and the plus change it to a minus in the circle, or option key on the Mac, and you can just click and correct that. You see, hold down alt and you can correct that, and you can always release your alt and go back in the car and correct that also. So that's how it's done. Let's deselect that. Just go to select and deselect, or you tap Ctrl D or Command D on your keyboard to deselect. And I'll be making use of our lasso tool. The lasso tool is really great. It helps you make freehand selections. So I can actually make this selection myself. Just click and start to drag all over the car. As you can see, I'm making the selection myself. Now this selection isn't actually really great. As you can see, I'm not trying to make it really perfect. I'm going to be doing just this tutorial, so you can just select yours really perfect. You can zoom in. I'll show you how to zoom in after I'm done selecting. Really rough. I'm just selecting it just to explain to you guys how you can do that. Now I can just get any images and just take that back to where it started. You can get any image and do yours. I won't be leaving this source file, I won't be leaving this image in the description. I want you guys to get another pic and use it yourself and try what I've showed you here. And now you can see, once I take it back to where it started and I just join that together, it makes a selection. And once I go down to edit, copy, edit and paste, or you can also do Control or Command C and Control or Command V, copy and paste on your keyboard, and go to your move tool. And now if I just click and drag, wow, you can see that we've copied it and we have an extra layer. We have the background layer locked. As I told you, once you open it, the first layer is always locked and it's taken as the background layer. So you can see we have our second car, so you can just position that anywhere. So I'll position mine here, and now we want to edit this picture to make it look more realistic. Now once I edit this picture, it might not look like really good. As you can see, our tire right here isn't really good enough, so this will just be a rough editing. I won't really take much time, but once you are doing yours, I'll explain to you guys how you can get a perfect edit. Now away from that, let's start editing. So first of all, what I want to do is add effect. So I can just decide to add an effect. Remember your blend option, or just double tap on the layer, and I want to add like a drop shadow. So I click on the drop shadow, see our drop shadow is added. You can change the angle, can change the distance, can change the spread, all this sort of stuff. So let's just leave the effect panel. We've gone through that already. I just wanted to add that. And now for the effect, you just have to go to your image this time, image, adjustment, and you see a lot of effects you can add. Brightness and contrast, where you can reduce the brightness, increase the brightness, or you can play around with the contrast, as you can see right here. But always be careful when you're editing to make the pictures you're editing look really realistic. And now the effect is added. Now another way to just like get the adjustment layer, the adjustment panel, is just come down here to adjustment, this like circle beneath, and just tap on that, and you see all the adjustment options. So you can just pick one. So I'll be adding our levels. Now what you can just do is just go to the adjustments, pick an image. You can just do what I've done and just start to edit the image. That's what I just want you guys to do. Play around with this. As you can see, the vibrance, the hue and saturation, the color balance, the black and white, the color filter, the color lookup. Play around with everything and you get used to it. They all have their own functions. And now in the levels, we have some presets. As you can see, if I choose darker, it changes the mode. As you can see, the whole image is being edited. Now if I want only this copied car to be edited, to have the effect only, all I have to do, let's go back to adjustment layer, is come down here to this box you're seeing that has some kind of arrow facing down and cancelled, and click it. That's what we call the clipping mask. And once you click it, it clips it to the layer beneath, like just below it, just the layer below it. As you can see, we have this layer below it, so it has been clipped to this layer. Another way to do that is to go in between the adjustment layer and the effect and the layer. Now this is our adjustment layer, the levels we added, and this is the normal layer. So I can just go in between and hold down your alt or your option key on the Mac, and there you can see the box, and you can just click, and now we've clipped it. And now you can just choose one of their presets if it matches what you want, or you can play around with these tools. This makes it darker. If you come to this white side, it makes it lighter. And you can play in the middle. You can move it to the left, making it light, move it to the back, making it dark. I think I'll leave it around here. It looks more, yeah, there are other options also. We have the exposure. As you can see, it affects everything. Just clip it. Never forget to clip, except if you want it to affect the whole layer. And just leave there. And then we can add, or you can just keep on adding. You can add we've added that. We can add our curves. You just have to drag these things down. Dragging it down here makes it darker, take it up makes it lighter. And don't forget to clip. Now it has been clipped. Has it been clipped? Okay, we have this on the way. Go to your curves and just clip it, and now it has been clipped. And now you can always change the color mode. Red can affect the reds. As you can see, you can affect the red, you can make the reds darker, and you can make the reds lighter. Go to green and blue. As you can see, they all have different effects they cause, so you can just play around with it. Now what I majorly do, and what I actually started doing when I was starting out, was anytime I want to edit any picture, I actually just play around with everything until I get what I want. So like as we have this car right here now, I just keep on editing using different modes until I get what I actually want. And then once you start doing it like that, you will get used to it, guys. You will get used to it. Before you know, you might want to edit a picture, and the next thing you know, oh, let me add the curves, oh, let me add levels. That's just how it is. Just play with everything and you will understand what they do. That's actually all about the adjustment layers. You can also add others, vibrance. As you can see, the vibrance gives more vibrance. Saturation, you can desaturate it and you can give it more saturation. Let's just reduce that, and other things you can add. As you can see, now we've talked about our color adjustment. So you guys just have to play with it around and you get used to the color corrections that you have to do. I can just place the copied one anywhere and just like edit it, so I can leave mine there. And now we've edited this picture. It doesn't really look that good, that because I didn't really take much time to like make sure the lighting is good by affecting the exposure, affecting the brightness, everything like that. We're just trying to rush it so you guys get the idea. So I guess that's all about the color correction. And now let's get to our text, how you can add text, how you can edit your text. And let's just go to the next slide, guys, and I hope you understand. And please don't forget to subscribe, comment down in the section below, and also give this video a like, share it to others. Other people actually need this. I'll see you guys in the next slide. So guys, welcome again to the second to the last tutorial in this tutorial, I guess. So we are going to be learning about our text today. So just go to the left side where we have our tools and just look for the icon T, and when you tap on your T, you see your cursor kind of change to a line or something like that. I don't know what to call that. So once you just click on your screen, you see something blinks like a line, and you can just type in your text after that. So now I'll be typing cars, sweet cars, yeah. And when you're done, you can just select the whole cars. You see, you have to select like inside the text box. There's actually like an imaginary box. If I go outside, I won't be able to select it. Instead, I'll be making like another text box. So I have to be inside the text. If you're in your move tool, you can just go over your text and double tap and you can select that. And now you can go up here and just change the font family. Hold on, let me move that so you can see that clearly. So you can change the double tap, you can change the font family. As you can see, I'll be using Gotham bold, and you can change the weight. Now the weight, it depends on the text. Now different texts have different weight. There are some texts they have like black, thin, and if this text actually adds thin, which it has, but this one I'm using right now is clearly stated Gotham bold, so it doesn't have anything, just regular. So if that's thin, this text will change to something like thinner. So that's just what the weight is all about. And here you can change your font size. So I can go 72, I can give it something even higher, let's say 500, and there you have your big text. And we have some other bunch of stuff here. You can change the color right here, just double tap, give it the color red, and there you have it. Then you can just click this check here, or just go to your move tool and you can move that in. Now another thing you can do with your text is actually like add an effect, just as we've done with the shapes. at the beginning of this tutorial, you can also do the same. Remember, you can just go to layer style, but that's just the long method. Just go down to FX right here, blend option, and it brings down the tab. And now what you can do is just, once you open your effects tab, you actually see this blending option at first, and then you can just change the the blend mode, and this just shows its different blend modes on the screen. As you can see, if I go to overlay, you can see how it is. It makes the text show, but like on the car, I don't know how to explain it, but I hope you can see what I'm seeing right here. I know you can see what I'm seeing right here. So if I go to multiply, you can see another effect, but just go to normal to just make the text normal. You can add bevels. As you can see, bevels has been added. You can add texture, contour, you can add strokes, you can add inner shadow, you can add the inner glow, color overlay. For the color overlay, you can just change the color. I can actually choose yellow, or let's choose our white back, and I've chosen our white, and there you have it. Then let's change this to normal. As you can see, we have our white. So you can actually add your own effect also to your text, and that's all about the text. The text isn't something that we should spend 15 minutes on, 10 minutes on. It's just actually easy. In 3 to 5 minutes you are done. So that's all about the text. Now for the last part of this tutorial, I'll be showing you guys some essential tools you need to know in Photoshop, so we can finally end this tutorial. So you guys stay to the end, and don't forget to subscribe and tap on the bell icon, comment and like. So let's go to the last section of this tutorial. I'll see you guys in the last slide. So you guys, welcome to the last part of this tutorial, and we're just going to be talking about like 2 or 3 basic tools you just need to know about. Now for us to do this, I need to bring back our car. I remember our other layer where we had our sweet car, which I wish I had. Let's just bring that down. So the first tool I'll be showing you guys is the eraser tool. Now if you go to the left side again and just go look for the eraser tool, it just looks like an eraser. You can just look for it there and just click on it, and there you have it. We have our eraser. It's a little bit small. To change the size, just go up here and just click on this arrow beside this kind of circle that has a number down, and you can change the size, you can change the hardness, you can change it to soft. Now I'll be keeping mine at 0 to make it really soft. I will show you guys the difference. So now we have this eraser, and it's really soft. So I can just go and clean any part of the car that I don't like. So let's say I don't like this part, I can just clean it. As you can see, I'm cleaning the car. That's just how it is. And if you change that to hard, if you make that really hard and you just clean, you can see, if you look closely at the car right now where it was cleaned, oh sorry, see how sharp it is, like how should I say, crisp, I don't know how to say that, but as I cleaned it, you see how it is a little bit sharp at the edges and all. Now let's make that really soft, and you see the difference just now. You see how that it makes it blurry at the places where it is cleaned. So that's just the difference between the hardness and the softness, and that's just everything. Now you can choose your brush. Also in that part, you can just scroll down, you see some set of brushes. In another tutorial, I'll teach you guys how to like create your own brush. You can actually create your brush, your own type of brush. As you can see here, particle, thunder. I created these brushes to create particles, as you can see. So I created them to create particles. I can just create a new layer, and let's give that this. Okay, it hasn't shown anything yet. It isn't showing anything, but oh, we're on our eraser tool. We have to be on. So as you can see my brush, I created this brush to add particles because I do photo manipulation once in a while. Now away from that, let's just delete that layer. We don't need it. Delete, and you're gone to the, okay, let's just stop there. And now we've erased our car completely and is completely ruined. And now there you have is the eraser tool. Now the next tool you guys need to know, which is a very broad tool. I actually have another tutorial on this tool, is the pen tool. Now I did a tutorial on this tool. I'm going to leave the link in the description, and also I might probably be showing the video right now on the screen, or if you don't see that, you'll see it at the end of this video. Now it isn't actually a Photoshop video. I actually did that for Adobe Illustrator, but it's the same thing, and I'm going to show you guys how to use the pen tool here in Photoshop. So you have to watch the video of the Adobe Illustrator to understand how to use the pen tool. And since that's for Photoshop, everything there will work for Photoshop, and I will now show you right now how you can easily use it in Photoshop. Now let's create a new document and just hide this. Now if you watch the tutorial on the pen tool, you understand how to create curves, how to create straight line, how to create everything. I explained everything in the tutorial, so go watch it. So now to create your shapes, you can actually use this to make logos. So for Photoshop, just have to, once you draw your logo or whatever, I'll just draw this, and if you go over and join it back, you see a kind of circle under the pen tool, which signifies that you want to close that shape. And if you go over it again, you see a minus, and if you click on it, it will remove that. Everything I explained in the tutorial. Now everything I'm about to show you right now is for Photoshop, so it won't work for the Adobe. Now what you have to do right now, stay on the pen tool, right click and go to define custom shape. Then you can rename your custom shape, tap OK, and then what you do is go over to your rectangle tool and just go down. You see the custom shape tool, and once you click on that, the custom shape tool is selected. And if you go up to this menu bar, you see these shapes, and you can just bring down this drop down menu. And if you go down, you actually see some custom shapes already, some preset custom shapes. But if you want to see yours, you just scroll down and you see the recent ones, and you can just click on it, double tap, and once you come to your screen, just click on your screen and you can change the width, the height. But the normal one there, it was the normal one when you created it, and if you tap OK, you have it. And there's our shape. You can see it somewhere, you can see there, but I need that to show well. Let's go back and do that. Go back there, double tap, click OK, and now it's there. I can just add an effect. Go to your effects panel and you can add, let's say, a color overlay. Now we have white, so it's mingling with the background. Give it red. Now we can see it more clearly, so we don't move the background. You can add gradient, you can add stroke, you can just do any effect right now and it will work. And here we have our shape, and this is how you do that for Photoshop. And now you want to resize this, you can always use your transform. Now you can, to use your transform, remember Control or Command T, and you brings out this like box around it and gives it anchor point, and you can just resize it. Yeah, this was our former one. You can resize it, you can rotate it, and all sort of stuff. So you guys, that's all about the pen tool. And now we've actually come to the end of this tutorial. Now the more you guys watch more videos, more tutorials, as I said, other tools will be used, other effects will be done, and from there on you start to get used to everything. Like we still have other things to touch, like the camera raw filter when you're doing photo manipulation. Now these are other tools, other effects you are going to learn later. And for you to know these things, you just have to keep watching tutorials, and not just in one aspect of Photoshop, in different aspects of Photoshop. How to create thumbnails, how to do photo manipulation. Once you watch these videos, you will see different tools used. Or another way you can do that is by actually going into the system yourself and just testing everything, and you can see it. And if you feel you don't know it, you can just use your phone and Google search it or watch a video on it. I will still be doing more tutorials for you guys so you can understand. But we've come to the end of this tutorial, and I wish you guys best of luck, and just stay tuned, subscribe for my other tutorials. It will help you with your Photoshop journey, and you will learn Photoshop. I'll see you guys in the next video. peace, and take care of yourself. Bye.